Hello. Sorry. Yeah, I got the microphone on mute. So hello, Jeremy again, and hello, Andres. Um, I was just saying that this is our first live stream, and we're here in our temporary studio. Sorry for the noise. So it's actually a room in my house that we're trying to fix up into a studio. And not all of our live streams will be like this. Sometimes we'll be going out. We just have to sort of figure out the technical aspect of live streaming from outside, and we have to check if the signal, if the internet signal will be fast enough for us to do an actual live stream. But I'm thinking that one of these days, I can maybe ride my bike somewhere and then show you the places where I usually ride my bike around Laguna or Batangas or stuff like that, and then we can do a live stream from there. So from now on, we'll be doing live streams for the Spokesnation podcast. So the podcast, as you all know, we've been trying to launch this for a very long time, but a lot of stuff have been happening. So we've been deploying, we've been doing projects, we've been working on the app and everything. But things are coming together, so we're able to do this now, our podcast, and hopefully we can do this regularly. May The schedule that we want to do this in right now is that every Wednesday, but the schedule is flexible depending. If you guys want to change the schedule, just let me know in our group page. You can post there. But temporarily, let's just say Wednesday afternoon, we can do a live stream. And then if you have ideas, questions, or concerns, or other things that you want to talk about, or if you have projects that you want to talk about, we can do that in the live stream. Some days, if you have no questions, then that will be the time that maybe I can show you around the places that you can go here in Laguna and other places eventually. Hopefully, when the pandemic ends, we can also do live streams from the different places where there are bike scouts, maybe in Borongan, in Leyte, in Iloilo, up north, of course. We'll be doing that there. And then, so now, for now, if you have questions, you can start posting it, and then we can start sort of like discussing that. But I guess we'll just start, even if it's just us, because this is really just a technical sort of test for the live stream, because we haven't done this before, and this is really the first time that we're doing this. And I guess it works. I hope it works for everyone, because I know that internet speeds not the same everywhere in the Philippines. So hopefully, this is one of the reasons why we're doing this on YouTube, because hopefully the YouTube platform will be able to stabilize the different speeds that you're watching this in, and everybody will have access to the live stream and the podcast. So, as I was saying, if for those of you who are just joining us, so this is welcome to the Spokesnation Community Podcast of the Bike Scouts, and from now on we'll be doing this regularly every Wednesday. But again, the schedule is flexible. We'll be doing live streams like this from here in the studio. We'll be fixing the background there. Um, we'll be putting in more lights, hopefully, and then. But eventually, when the pandemic ends, we'll be able to do live stream from outside, from the different places where there are bike scouts. So, as you can probably tell, this live stream is totally unscripted. So forgive me if there are any like noise coming from, because I'm on the second floor of the house, and I have noisy neighbors. So yeah, you'll be hearing the stuff that they're talking about every day. Um, One important thing that I wanted to mention before we start actually is that if you remember, James Ward of Baguio, of the Daily Cycle Movement in Baguio, recently passed away. And even though we were actually preparing to do live streams and community conversations and podcasts a long time ago, it was one of the last things that I was talking about with James. Actually, he brought it up. He sent me a message, a voice message, actually, saying that because the Bike Scouts community is growing and we have members now in other places around the world, that it would be a good idea to start talking to each other in this way. So this one is a little bit one way. I'm the only one talking for now, because we really have to figure out a way to make the talk more accessible to everyone. Because I was concerned that if we do the Facebook rooms, or even the Zoom call, or even a Google Hangouts, I'm not sure if everyone has a fast enough internet, or has the right have the right device, mobile device that would allow them to access that kind of platform. So I guess we'll have to test it out as we move forward. But so again, more importantly, we are doing this now. We are launching this because to remember James Ward of Baguio and the Daily Cycle Movement, and of course of Bike Scouts Baguio. And shout out to the guys from Bike Scouts Baguio and all the awesome stuff that you're doing up there in the north. Um, I'm very sorry that I couldn't join all of the rides, all of the activities that you were doing in memory of James. Hopefully, we can do something in the near future when the world opens up again, when the pandemic ends, or if there's a vaccine. Um, so another thing is, if you notice, we're doing this in English, and I realized that a lot of us, of course, wish that we could do this in Filipino or in maybe kung kabalo ko mag-Ilonggo, then we can do it in Ilonggo. But the thing is that the Bike South is growing. So we have members in places like Syria, in Colombia, in Finland, uh, Japan, everywhere else. So, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, happily, English is the most widely spoken language. And so it's one thing that we can do for the community for now. That um, let's speak in as much as we can. Let's try to communicate in English so that everybody understands, so that everybody can participate. Oh, and the other thing, and the other reason why we're doing this way, one way for now, is because I realized, having done this many times, that not everyone is comfortable being on camera or be speaking in front of their phones, talking to an audience. So to avoid people just sitting there and being quiet, not being able to participate, for now, let's do this until everyone becomes more comfortable, and then we'll do something that's more interactive. Probably we'll figure that out. Oh, and hello to Josh and Wang. And yes, that's the guitar. That one. That's the guitar. That's Wang's guitar that she doesn't even take care of. But Wang plays really well. Maybe one of these days we can do a live stream with Wang playing the guitar or teaching how to play the guitar. So yeah, so there. So if you have questions so far, just post them on the what do you call this, the live chat, or I'll also be checking our Facebook page. But preferably you can just post the questions on live chat so that I can, because it's easier for me to see. I keep looking down because my monitor is a little bit too high. So if I look at the camera like this and talk to you, I won't be able to see some of the notes that I prepared, and also the live chat. So I'm sorry if I'm looking like everywhere while we're doing this. I hope that's okay. So now, one of the most important thing that I wanted to talk about on this live stream is actually the Bike Scouts app. So we've been together. We've been a community for the past 7 years, and we've been through a lot. I mean, if you think about it, we started with Typhoon Yolanda in 2013. I mean, my God, I'm that old. So yeah, Bike Scouts is getting older as well, and that's a very good thing. So yeah, we've been together through thick and thin, through a lot of things, through a lot of typhoons, two category five typhoons, in fact, one volcanic eruption and a global pandemic. I mean, there is no other social platform that can claim that they have a community that has been through all of those things in such a short period of time and have actually done something about it to help other people and do something that matters in the world. uh, I'm not sure because there's no way for me to check to confirm that. But as far as I know, we're the only social platform in the world that can claim that's doing that right now, and that's a big deal. And yes, we are on Facebook, and even once we launch the app, which by the way is being coded, which is being built by Josh Modes. If you probably, most of you probably know him. So he's very talented with code and design and everything. So thank you, Josh, for working with us, for being the development lead for this project. We'll be doing a lot more work on the app. So going back, why do we need an app? Why not just stick to Facebook like everybody else is doing? The main reason is because um, Facebook, Instagram, and all other social platforms actually is that it's not really made for whatever it is that we're doing, for the kind of work that we're doing, for the kind of community that we are. Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube, this platform that we're using right now, which is very excellent, but still, all of these social platforms are built in the US and in other countries where I mean, it's not a bad thing, but whether we like it or not, these platforms are made for individualistic purposes. This is the reason why if you go on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, on TikTok, on other platforms, Snapchat even, um, it's filled with content where people are trying to show what they can do as an individual. Yes, there is a community there, but the community there is mostly about having an audience, people who watch you perform or do things or be handsome or beautiful. That's basically the purpose of all, let's just say, all social platforms in the world that we're using right now. And it's not because it's a bad thing. It's just that if you look at the culture in other countries, um, the places where these social platforms are built, it's all about individual excellence. It's all about individual achievement, and that's a good thing for them. But for us Filipinos and most of the Asians, actually, especially Southeast Asians, or I don't know, let's just say Asians, even though I have no way of really verifying if all Asians are like us. But let's say us Filipinos, we have a characteristic that, for example, if you're walking in the mall alone, did you notice that you're not really that loud? Most of the time, we're looking at the floor or we're pretending to look at shop windows, even though we're not really looking at anything. It's because we're mostly shy. Filipinos are shy, whether we like it or not. We're a shy race. We would rather not attract attention to ourselves when we're in public. So it's not normal for us to be doing this, a live stream, especially in public, doing vlogs. That's not really normal. That's why if you watch, for example, American vloggers, it seems more natural when they talk to the camera because they're used to that. They're used to being thinking about what they can do as an individual. Filipinos are not like that. Filipinos, did you notice that if you're walking in the mall, if we're alone, we're quiet. But the moment that we start to hang out with our friends or walking with two, three, four, five of our friends, that's when we start to get loud. It's because Filipinos, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but us Filipinos, basically, we have more confidence to sort of like exert or show what we really are when we are in a group. We are more community based. And unfortunately, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok and other social platforms are not designed for us. It's not designed for Filipinos. It's not designed for Asians. Us, we have a culture of family first, community first, and in a bad way, a lot of times we have a concept of barkada, which is like friends, diba? Like the our close friends. um, we depend on that. We even have a concept of what we call bayanihan. Bayanihan is basically community working together to help in doing something for somebody or for the entire community. That's the bayanihan concept for the Filipinos, and I think every Asian culture has a version of that, and so that's an indication that there's really sort of like a uh, it's not a perfect fit. The platform that we are all on as Asians does not fit into our culture, and that poses a problem even when we try to respond to people who are asking for help in the aftermath of disasters, or when even like uh, social good stuff like I need a notebook and pencils for my kid because he needs it for school, she needs it for school. um, if you notice, if you go on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else, you really have to make a lot of noise, or you have to find out a way how to make that viral so that you'll get noticed. Otherwise, people will probably just click. People will sort of like, maybe if they're your friends or family, they will share that, but there's no guarantee that people will actually do something about it. It's because it's not entertaining enough, sadly. I mean, nobody wants to say it probably, but it's the fact. If we keep doing this on Facebook is a very good way for us to promote bike scouts. It has been the reason why we've been growing so much. It's a good way to keep in touch as well. But for us to be able to do the work that we do, to grow the community, the kind of community that we are, um, it's hard because it's really not designed to do that. Unlike the Bike Scouts app, once you log on to the Bike Scouts app when you sign up, um, the purpose of every person who signs up for the app is to find a way to do something useful in the world to help others. I'm sorry, it's getting dark, so excuse me. There, I'm back. I hope it's bright enough. So yeah, going back. Um, the difference between traditional social media, which is Facebook and everything else, and the Bike Scouts app is that when people sign up for the Bike Scouts app, from the very beginning, from the moment that they sign up, the reason why they're joining is to do something good in the world or to help others. That is the only purpose. Nobody signs up for. If you notice on our group page, nobody joins the page to show off that, oh, I went on an expensive big vacation, or I bought an expensive car, or look at me, I'm handsome, I'm beautiful, or something. Nobody does that in our group page. And imagine waking up in the morning, you have two options. For example, you have Facebook app on your phone, and you have access also to the Bike Scouts. You have two choices now. Do you want to check on the usual things that you see on social media, or maybe you want to start your day with something inspirational, something that maybe sort of like you want to feel appreciated, for example. I mean, these are things that we keep on talking about on social media. We call it mental health, right? I mean, a lot of us, especially now in the time of the pandemic, a lot of us feel isolated, a lot of us feel sad, a lot of us feel overwhelmed by all of the challenges that we're going through. And we keep on talking about it on social media. But honestly, when was the last time that you've seen people sort of like gather around somebody who needs help and actually sort of give him support in a real sense? That rarely happens. I mean, you're lucky if that happens because the pace and the style of interaction and engagement on traditional social media is all about moving on to the next entertaining thing. Right now, you're looking at a picture of somebody jumping off a cliff, and then suddenly you find somebody who is like sort of like needs clothes. So you click heart. That's our usual reaction. But then you keep scrolling. You're looking for pictures of dogs, cats, like I do. And then you keep on looking for pictures and videos that are entertaining, mindless entertainment, basically. I mean, that's not a bad thing. We all shared an interest in looking for entertainment, and that's why we're really on social media. But it can't be like that all the time because the world has changed, whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, whether we realize it or not. The world has totally changed, and right now it has become so evident that a lot of us need support, a lot of us need appreciation. It's not even like giving people money or giving people material things, because a lot of times, even in disaster areas that I've been in the past 7 years, Filipinos especially. I can't speak for other Asians, but I suspect that other Asian cultures are also the same. That when people are in a bad situation, they would rather do something for themselves because there's dignity in that. And a lot of times, people just really are looking for the right kind of support so that they can help themselves. But on Facebook and other social media platforms, it's never like that. It's because of the individualistic purpose of those platforms, again, that the only way that you're going to get help from traditional social media is if you act like you're helpless. And then people will, I don't know, parachute in and then save you like a superhero. That's the usual story. That's what happens, and that's what will keep on happening. But the story that never gets told on traditional social media is that people are actually very strong emotionally, spiritually, in a lot of different ways. It's just that nobody gives them the support to help themselves. And through our app, people are going to be able to do that, because then it's not, the story won't be about us helping. The story is going to be about people helping themselves. And that's actually about all of us as well, because sorry, just drinking water. So yeah, so because disasters and everyday problems can also happen to each one of us. And so what can happen to others can also happen to us. And of course, If it does, then we would want to be in the same position where first we want to try to help ourselves first before being helpless and just accepting help, something like that. I mean, I think that's a better story. And through the Bike Scouts app, that will be possible. So there are a lot of we haven't shown you the actual features yet because we're still working on the hosting of the server, but we're getting close. We're almost there. Probably another week or two, we'll have that. Once the beta is up, please use the app. Please post there. It will also allow you to share whatever you post on the app to Facebook as well. So it's not going to be a problem. The purpose for the beta test is so that we can find out if anything is wrong. It's not going to be perfect yet. That's why we call it a beta test. It's sort of like a soft opening. If you go into a store and it's on the like soft opening mode, the service is not going to be perfect. It's because they're still trying to figure out what's wrong with the service and everything else, and then they're going to finalize that. That's what we're going to be doing this month of December, hopefully, and into the first and second week of January. But after that, Josh is going to work on the app again, and then that will take a very short time, and then we'll launch the final version of the app, which we will be updating, of course, as we progress. But just to give you an idea, it won't be as different as Facebook or Instagram. In fact, it's something like Instagram and Twitter, something to that effect. But the big difference with our app is, aside from its purpose, is that its algorithm is not like Facebook. It doesn't have an agenda. The algorithm that we have is only there to help us organize the ton of content that will be on the app. Uh, Actually, we're trying to figure out a way how we can sort of delete your data after a period of time. Now, storing the data on the database for the app is actually needed to give you a better user experience, so that the app will remember that you looked at this last time. So now it will bring you to that exact place in the app, so that you don't have to look for things every time. But we're not doing business with your personal data or your activity data. So we're trying to figure out a way how we can safely delete it after a period of time, that it's no longer relevant to your user experience. So we're going to be doing that. And the best thing is that we're going to be very transparent about the way that we develop the app and the algorithm. By the way, Josh again wrote the algorithm for our app. So that's the other benefit. I mean, with Facebook, there's nobody to talk to. I mean, you don't know what's happening there. If you have a complaint, you send a message or a report, and you don't know what happens to that. With our app, we're there every day on the group page, and you can message us directly, and you can tell us what the problem is, and we can fix it together. So yeah, so far, do you have any questions? Just post them on the live chat, and we'll try to answer that as I'll try to answer that as best as I can. So moving forward, um, it's like Facebook/Twitter in terms of the timeline. So you can post a photo, and then you can post a caption for the photo. Now the difference is that it has geotagging option, because we this is very useful for our storm disaster monitoring work, for our disaster response work even. So that, because right now when you're taking a photo of like for example a bridge that fell because of a flood, you still have to write the details of where it is. And sometimes even us, even when we're local to these places, we don't know the name of the bridge. We don't know the name of the street, so on and so forth. But because we have a geotagging option, you don't have to do that work. It's automatic. The app will automatically tag the location where you took the photo. But of course, there's an option for you to opt out. You can turn off that option if you're posting about something that includes your family or friends, or if it's not disaster related. You can turn off that option so that nobody will know where you are. But please use that option when we're doing disaster monitoring, because that's a very useful tool that we'll be using for forever actually. Now the other thing, where does your photos go right now? On Facebook, it goes to our sort of like folder where all of the photos are, but there's no way to really organize them unless we manually, uh, because we've been doing this for 7 years and we haven't really done like folders to organize different disasters. It's been really difficult, and there's no once you post a photo, you forget about it, and then you really don't know what happens to that. Recently, there was an issue about media companies using using photos from the public and also video content. Yep. But for now, we won't have video content yet. We'll still be posting on Facebook and YouTube. But for the photos, there was a problem with that because there's a practice here in the Philippines and probably elsewhere where media companies will just take your photo and use it, and you don't even know that they actually use that for a report. I mean, that's fine. I mean, if you're okay that your photo made it to national news, that's fine. But for some, especially if you make a living out of taking photos, or maybe if you're thinking of doing this as sort of like a way to make an like I don't know, maybe extra income, then we're actually coming up with a stock photo feature for our app where all of the photos that we post will go directly to your folder, to your stock photo folder, so that now when a media company wants to get to use your photo, they know exactly where to find you. They know exactly who you are. There won't be an excuse that they can't say that, well, because we can't trace the person. Well, they can in our app. They will know that it's you who took the photo and where you took the photo. And then there's a way for us to, we'll make a way where they can access the content through our stock photo library officially, and then we're still figuring out how they can pay for it so that you get paid. If your photo of a flood, an earthquake, or a storm gets used by a media company, it's probably not going to be a lot of money, but at least you get compensated for the photos, for the stuff, for the work that you do. Wang is saying that, well, what's your view regarding people saying that it's better not to show off? Good question. What is my view about people saying that um, it's better not to show off what you do when helping others because it's sometimes misinterpreted as bragging? Well, yes, that's a very good question. But the fact of the matter is that if you go on Facebook, 99% of the content there is bragging, basically humble brag most of the time. People want to show off that they're rich, even when they're not. People want to show off that they have famous friends, which most of the time not even true. But my point is this: why are we okay with posting stuff that make people envy us? Why are we okay with posting content that are sometimes bad, actually, for society or for our culture? But when somebody says that we did something good today, we have an opinion about it. The fact of the matter is this: because there is so much bad content on social media, there is an actual need for us to post good content, because it's not just us who see the stuff that are posted on social media. It's the kids also see the stuff on social media. In fact, it's a big issue right now that social media is affecting the way that children are growing up, or even young people. Imagine if all that the kids and young people see on social media is about I'm on a speedboat with girls in bikinis and stuff like that, and this is my lifestyle, and that becomes their dream. I mean, try to imagine a world, well, where most people's aspiration involves that: getting rich at all costs, making money no matter what it takes. Because that's what you see on social media. There are even like a lot of gurus, I guess you call them, who teach people how to make money. Like there's a term for it. They call it hustle or something. And by itself, hustle is not a bad thing. It's actually good. But the thing is that you can't just make money for the sake of making money. In Japan, there's a place in northern Japan where the salesmen in the 18th century or 17th century or something, they have a code where when you make money, you have to uh, do something good for the community proportionately to the amount of money that you make. And I think that's a better way of thinking about social media. Making money is not bad. I mean, being popular is not bad. So a lot of times it's essential in the modern world, but it's also essential for us to create a balance between random and petty content that we see most of the time on social media, and also good content that will inspire kids, young people, and even people our age and probably older people, that to think that, oh wow, I mean, if they can do that kind of thing, actually, that's what I want to do. I mean, a lot of people are sort of like they want to subscribe to what they see in the movies, in TV, and increasingly on social media. That if you're like gangsta or something, I don't know what the modern term for it is. I'm at that age that I call stuff like that gangsta, but I guess you get the idea. So I mean, if people uh, sort of like have an aspiration like that because of what they see, because of that's the kind of influence that they get from media, then we end up with a bad world. That's why we are where we are right now. So what we're doing really is not, we're not posting to brag, we're not posting to get credit, we're not posting to for any of those things. In fact, 99% of the stuff that the Bike Scouts does, nobody even knows. It's actually the stuff that you see on our group page and the stuff that we share. It's actually very, very selected. It's just the happy stuff that we post, but there are many, many other super emotional. So some of them are tragic, even that stuff that we do that nobody ever knows about. But yes, just to answer the question, it is very important for us to keep posting good content because right now there is just too much bad content on the internet and on social media. That's our responsibility. So thank you, Wang, for asking that. I needed to answer that actually. Yep. Thank you, Andres. We're even us who are building the app are also very excited to start using it. So yeah, moving on again. That's the app. If you have any other questions, you can post your question on our group page. Midnight Ride. I posted about Midnight Ride this year. We really wanted to ride out and deliver gifts again, as we do traditionally every year, but we just couldn't figure out a way to do it safely. I mean, there are places where you can do it safely, probably, where you can do social distancing properly and everything. But our experience here in Laguna, because we ride through three different jurisdictions, Binyan, San Pedro, and then Alabang, and a lot of times the places where we stop, people just, there's just really a big crowd of people, and it's just going to be impossible to sort of implement social distancing and do that kind of activity safely. I'm sorry for the noise if you're hearing this. Uh, so yeah, so we decided that the best way to do midnight ride, but although I know that SK Ryan has a ride in his area in Manila. If you want to join that, you can join that. But if you feel uncomfortable doing it because of social distancing and everything else, um, the way that we're going to be doing it this year is that we're going to do it individually or as small teams, um, doing it in your own neighborhood. Like right now, I think the reason why it's so noisy is because there are like a vendor of balut or something. So you have people like them who have to work even at Christmas time. You can They can be the recipients of our gifts right now. And there are a lot of places in the Philippines where there are street kids, homeless people, and the less fortunate that are basically out there in the cold at Christmas time. And if they are in your neighborhood, if it's easy for you to go there safely and give a gift to them, then do that. So the way that we're going to be doing the midnight ride this year, and I hope that we keep the community spirit by sharing that on Facebook and also on the Bike Scouts app, is we do it individually and then just share it on our community page, share it on our app, so that we still get the feeling of community that we've been having for the past 6 7 years doing the midnight ride. Hopefully by next year we'll be going back to normal and we'll be able to do a lot more of these activities better. uh, but the important thing now is to keep everybody safe. Lastly, the last thing that I wanted to talk about now is actually community growth, and this is related to the app. The app is very important to us, and we have a very large community across the Philippines. But I realize that it's not easy to sort of like move everyone from where we are now, which is on Facebook, to the app. but it's going to be very, very important that we sign up as many of our fellow bike scouts in our own area for the app, so that for it to really work. Because when we have projects, when we have disaster response, we will be communicating on the app because it's just simpler, it's easier. It makes the work of managing our disaster response work easier for everyone, especially us. Because right now, the volume of even just photos that we get from you guys, from the community, whenever there's a typhoon or flood or an earthquake, it's a lot, like a lot, and we have to go through that, through each one. We have to organize all of them, and we are at the point that we really have to automate everything so that we don't miss something. A lot of times people post something, a photo of somebody that needs help, for example, like immediate help, like somebody is in the middle of a flood, and there's a danger that if we keep on doing this on Facebook, that we will miss that important report. Even on Messenger, like our community chat, it's been very effective. But during disasters, if you notice, if you don't check it for like 1 minute and then you come back, it's really hard to back read. It's hard to find things because of the way it's designed. So for with the app, it's going to be the same, but the thing is that on the back end, all of the posts that you make on the app will be organized on the back end. So for us as managers, it will be easier for us to sort of like direct the content that needs to be seen immediately by search and rescue teams, by disaster managers, hospitals, doctors, nurses, and everything else. So it's very, very important because I know that, and the best thing about bike scouts is that when your community, wherever you are, when you need help, you get attention immediately. And for us to be able to do that very effectively from now on, we have to do it on the app so that you get the attention that you really need during these times. So please, please, I'm requesting for all of you that are here on the live stream right now, please help us in signing up everyone in your community, in your team, in your area. Please ask them to join, to sign up for the Bike Scouts app, so that we can do the same kind of activity that we're doing on Facebook on the app and be able to do our work properly. So, um, community growth, we are expanding. As you've seen, probably we have members now. Nepal is a very large community. They have their own. They have a very advanced initiative in Nepal where for bicycle mobility, for community engagement. All of their projects are incredibly awesome, and I would like for the Bike Scouts to be a part of that, help them learn from the team in Nepal, and maybe in the future we can also visit them, because from the pictures that I've seen from Nepal, it's an awesome place to ride. So if we can sort of grow our community, not just in the Philippines but also internationally, if you have relatives, for example, who maybe ride bikes, or even if they don't, please invite them into the Bike Scouts. So because that will help us grow, that will help our community become more effective in the long term. So Andres is saying that, yeah, more lacking moral decency for some. We see this a lot on social media, on Facebook especially. And if you notice, on even on the Bike Scouts Facebook group, the culture is different. If you go anywhere else on Facebook, people are sort of like going at each other all the time. But then you go into the Bike Scouts group page, it's like a completely different planet, and I'm so happy about that. I'm so proud of that. I keep on, whenever I talk about the Bike Scouts, when I give talks to universities or to even friends or our partners, that's the first thing that I always brag about the Bike Scouts, that we've managed to change the culture of social media just by being a community. So thank you so much, everyone, for that. And I guess for now, we'll end the live stream at the on that note. If you have other questions, please post them on our Facebook group, and please keep posting all of the very, very awesome photos and stories that you've been posting on our group page. We're looking at all of them. We've just been so busy for the past few months because of the pandemic, because of all the things that have been happening, new partnerships that we're building, and also the app. But very soon, once we launch the app, We'll be putting all of the stories that you've been sharing that we haven't necessarily. We apologize for not being able to share more stories about the content that you've been posting. A few hours, like an hour ago, actually, I saw the post by Sonny and by Duboy and all the other things from Bicol and everywhere else. Uh, from Runel in Ilocos, from Byron in Batanes. These are all very, very awesome stories, and we really want to give it the attention and treatment that it deserves. And we'll do that on the app. So, with that, thank you so much for joining this first live stream. Hopefully, you'll join us again on Wednesday, and hopefully, we'll have more people on the live stream. You can prepare more questions or ideas or stuff. This is not a formal thing, by the way. Maybe I sound formal, but this is just really how I am. And this is sort of like a hangout for us. So don't worry, you can say whatever you want. We can talk about whatever you want. It doesn't even have to involve the bike scouts. Like if you have a personal experience or you have a project not even related to the bike scouts, or if you're having trouble at school or something, or at work or something like that, we can this is the platform, this is the forum for it. This is a better way of hanging out for us as a community, and also again, in remembrance of James Ward of Baguio and Bike Scouts Baguio and the Daily Cycle movement, who this was his last wish, that we do sort of like a community wide conversation. So hopefully we can do this bigger next time, and as we move forward. Thank you so much for everyone who joined. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the posts. See you again next time.